reaching up with one arm and then exhaling with the other. So almost using this a little bit as our warm up. So just stretching out the shoulder. And while you're here, just being aware of what's going on within your shoulder socket. So if you feel like your shoulder is kind of creeping up, just make sure you can keep the shoulder down. And just focusing on that breath, expanding, inhaling, and then exhaling it back. Great, last time here. And almost noticing how you can like push through the space, right? It's like you have to work a little bit harder. Great, finding your way back to the center, bringing your arms all the way up to a T position. Let's twist to one side, taking a nice deep breath, and then pushing the arms down, almost to like a low V, coming back to your T, and then back to the center, straight away over to the other side. So you're inhaling, twisting. Now, throughout this twist, we keep our knees and our hips forward facing, and we're working on isolating the shoulders within this length. We're working on twisting the belly from the belly button area so that we're allowing this whole spinal twist to happen just from that center point. Great, a few more to go. So you're inhaling, twisting, pushing on down, exhaling, lengthening out and engaging the core to come back. And even here, noticing like, where are you holding yourself from? I know that I ask that question a lot, but that's kind of where I want you to think about. Where are you holding yourself? Are you holding yourself on your knees? Are you holding yourself from your shoulders? Because ideally we want to try and really harness that belly sensation of holding ourselves from there, even if the back is twisting and even if the back does get stronger. Great, and your last full time here, and all the way out. Super, slowly coming on back. Great, so we're keeping our knees exactly where they are. We're bringing our elbows nice and close. And as slowly and steadily, we're coming up, hinging forward and gauging how far we can come. Meaning like if you feel like you're gonna fall over, then you're a little bit too far. If you feel like you wanna tuck your toes for some extra support, let's do that. So we're gonna start here with a slow hinge back, keeping the bum reaching towards the heels or the toes down, depending what position you are. And then exhaling, lengthening forward, seeing if you can bring your hips directly over your knees. So you're inhaling, engaging the core as we expand. Exhale, belly comes a little bit further. Great, 3 more like this. And at the moment, the elbows are just nice and close. We're not doing anything extra with the arms. I want you to just feel how much control you have in this position and how much your core is really moving you up. You're holding, belly comes in and all the way down. Great, this time we come all the way up, the arms go behind, and exhale, we're reaching forward, parallel to the floor. So inhaling, hinging forward, arms go back, and this time you can actually even bring your body upright a little bit so that you're adding a little bit more range of motion. And if you feel like you want to stay hinged forward the whole time, please do so. We're just playing a little bit along with this, almost like focal point, right? How far forward can we go? And can then we realign to come straight back? Great. 4 more. And then engaging as we push. And still keeping those shoulders down and the elbows as close to the body as possible at this moment. So I really want you to keep that concept of like hugging yourself in. Great, last 2. And then your last one here. Great, we're lengthening all the way back. Put your toes down if you're not there already. And from here we circle the arms towards the front, trying not to move anything else, and then push back. So you're inhaling, circling around, and just think, can you lengthen your spine a little bit more? Can you engage your core a tiny bit more? Inhaling, reaching. Exhale, push back. Great, 4 more. And even if this is just a leaning feeling, right? Like, yes, your back might start to get a little bit warm, but how much your belly still holds you from the inside. And without putting too much pressure on the legs, right? They're there, but there's not really pressure on the knees. Your last time here. Good, staying back here, you're slowly squeezing the arms together. So you're lifting the belly, your shoulders stay down. It's almost like you just want to squeeze the hands together, even if you're not touching them. And keeping the elbows relatively straight, not necessarily locked out, but we're not bending anything yet. We're squeezing behind. Great, 5. And each time we go, the spine gets a little bit longer for 4. Keep that long, steady breath for 3. Reaching the arms a tiny bit longer, maybe even leaning forward a tiny bit more for 2. Belly stays lifted. Can you bring your knees just, or your hips a little bit closer to your knees for 1? Great, slowly coming on back. And then finding your seat all the way back down on the floor. Awesome. So let's bring ourselves a pillow handy if we need it. Yeah, so we're starting with the left knee down, and the right knee is going to come out at a diagonal. So your left knee is directly underneath your left hip, and your right leg is kind of coming, yeah, not too far away. It should still be somewhat at like a slightly elongated 90-degree angle, and your hands come behind you. So we're going to work on this nice little stretch through the side, and then coming back and just reaching. So we're going to add a few little layers to this, but right now, just focusing on isolating through that hip, stretching as we reach, and then coming back to the center. Now trying to keep the arms almost when they land at like a straight T position. So if you don't have to lower them, try not to. Great, 3. And the left toes behind you can absolutely be tucked for an extra anchor point. Or if you feel like you actually just want to put them flat on the floor, you can do that too. Great, last time here. Super. Hands are coming behind your head. Here we go. Slowly bending towards the right knee. As you lift up the right heel, come right back to the center and then stretch out. So we're just changing it up a little bit. So you're leaning, lifting, pushing down, and reaching. Great. And even if you're doing something slightly different with your arms, it's totally fine. I just want to reach and a lean and a stretch and an activation all at the same time. Great. 4 more. And remember, with that lean, we're not just trying to touch the knee, right? We're saying, how can we come up and over and use the belly to come back? Great, last 2. Awesome, and your last one here. Super, putting this left weight down. Great, putting the left hand on the floor, and straight away, look at that. We can lengthen up all the way into the side position. So your knee is still on the left side, not going anywhere. Whoop. Finding your balance on the right side here. Great. Slowly bending down with the right, and then on the way up, we reach up with the arm. Now, in this position, you can absolutely keep your neck downward facing. So if you feel like your neck doesn't like to look forward, then don't. You'll notice that your hip on the right is still stacked on top of the left. And we keep on lengthening out and coming on back. Great, we have 5. And slowly resisting up with the arm, right? Noticing that you're not necessarily moving too fast. You have that complete length each time you come up for 2. Great, last time 1. Cool, hand stays behind your head, lengthening up that leg all the way. So slowly bending this right leg, squeezing it down for your clam, lifting it all the way back up, and now twisting down as you stretch out the leg. Let's try that again. Bending as you open. Now you're not necessarily going to squeeze it down all the way, or I can't touch it necessarily all the way, but that's okay. Reaching it up. Good. 6 more. Inhale, down and up. Exhale, twist and stretch. Now keep that length all the way from your shoulder. And if you feel like supporting yourself on one arm here is not where you're at today, then just come down into a forearm. And you can absolutely do the same move from there. And 4. And remember, that twisting sensation only happens from the waist. We try and keep the hips stacked for 3. 2, and then your last time here. And 1. Super. Slowly putting that right foot down, seeing if we can reach our way all the way up. And hold. Awesome. Let's come over onto the other side. Let's see if I remember. Great, so we start here. The right knee is directly underneath the right hip. The bottom part of the right leg goes out. That left leg just comes slightly beyond, like a direct 90-degree angle. And your hands are behind your head. Great, so we start here with a nice little lean into the hip and exhale back. Now remember, this idea is to shift your weight so that you can stretch out the hip, but you still maintain that upward reach with the upper body. And we still focus on not shifting the upper body, right? We're not leaning at this point. We're shifting the weight in the lower half, but you're still keeping that upper body super long. Great. 5 more. And use this almost as an opportunity. You're stretching out the inner thighs and the hips, but we're still not completely letting go. Great. Last 2. And then your last one here. Great, so hands come behind your head. We lengthen towards that left knee, lengthening up the left heel, coming back to the center, and now we stretch and reach. 7 more to go. So you're lengthening up, down, exhaling all the way out. Great, and seeing how can you come up and over, right? We're trying to keep that length all the way through the side body, even if we're stretching out. We're not trying to make ourselves small necessarily, right? We want to keep that upward length. Good, my breath pattern's a little bit off, but remember, as long as you're breathing long, we're good. Inhaling here, then exhale, release. Get 2 more full ones. Awesome, last time here. Superb. So putting the right weight down, taking this right hand, putting it all the way down on the floor and lifting up this left leg. Good, so ideally here your hips are already stacked. You're down over here and then we reach on up. So remember, if you need to look down at the floor, look down at the floor. If you don't want the arm extension, don't do the arm extension. If you feel like you need to come down onto your forearms, come down onto your forearms. Super, 5 more. Now that elbow still stays very upward lifting, right? We're trying not to lower the elbow. We're simply bending the arm behind us. Great, 3. Happy moments here for 2. Stretch and up, last time for 1. Good. Hand comes behind your head, you're bending, so you're slowly coming down for your clam. And then as you come up, you're stretching and twisting. Great, and we can add this arm up from here, and then stretch and twist. Now, if you feel like at some point you need to adjust your positioning, please do so. Right, you're squeezing a little bit, lifting on up and twisting. 5 more. And full extension if we can on both the leg and the arm for 3. Noticing where that twist is coming from for 2. And then your last one here for 1. So we're back to the center, foot comes down, and then all the way up. Awesome, that was lovely. So let's come over onto the bum. The pillow can go to the side for a second. Your weights are nice and handy next to you. Bringing your hands underneath your knees and just roll down for me 1 vertebrae at a time. Bringing both knees into your chest. Bringing this left ankle on top of the right knee and putting the sole of the right foot down for the moment. Hands come next to you. Engaging your core, slowly lifting up your hips. And as you lift up, you're opening up your hip again, almost on the other side, right? So you're pushing this left knee down just a little bit by grounding your left ankle into your right thigh. And then slowly articulating all the way down for me, One vertebrae at a time on 3, 2, 1. Take another inhale, bring the knee in towards you on the right, giving yourself a nice little stretch here. And then exhale, stretching that right leg out. Great, back to the center. Let's try that 2 more times, full set. Sole of the foot on the right goes down. Inhaling, prepare. Exhale, lift up. Good, pushing that left knee downward, almost using this as an activation stretch. And then slowly melting one vertebrae at a time down, still trying to push that left knee open. 3, 2, and 1. Right knee comes into your chest on the inhale. And then exhale, stretch out. Belly still stays down, pushing the leg all the way down or as far down as you can go at the moment. Bringing your knee back into the center for that extra stretch. Right foot comes down. Good, take another inhale here. Exhale, lift up on a one-legged bridge, holding for a moment. Great, inhale again. And then exhale, articulate your spine, one vertebrae at a time down on 3, 2, and 1. Right knee comes in towards you, pushing down into the floor with your hands. Stretching all the way out, reweaving those ribs back together on your exhale. Inhale, back to the center. And then sole of your foot comes down. Great, bringing that left leg all the way down to the floor, crossing the right foot on top of the left knee, taking a deep inhale, opening up. Exhale, push yourself up. Great, now again, you're pushing that right knee down, grounding the right foot into the left knee, and then slowly articulating down, keeping that openness. So you're not trying to lengthen upwards here, we're trying to open to the side with the knee as we bring that hip all the way down. Good, inhaling the left knee into the chest, feeling the stretch on the side. Exhale, engage the core, lengthen. Great, inhale, back to the center. And exhale, foot comes down. 2 more full sets. Inhale, prepare. Lengthening the arms a little bit more. Exhale, lift. Now, even if this isn't like a crazy lift, we're still opening the hips and so utilizing the entire control of the body to use our openness to create more space. Good, knee comes in on the left on your inhale. Engage the core. Drop the belly down for the exhale out. Great, inhaling back to the center, coming in a little bit closer with that left knee, dropping that left foot down for the floor on the exhale. Inhale, prepare for your last set. Exhale, float yourself up, opening that knee, keeping both hips still nice and grounded. Inhale again. Exhale, slowly articulate down, keeping that openness through that right knee. And the right hip, great. Inhaling, left knee comes in towards the center. Feel the stretch of the outer right thigh, grounding as you exhale out. Great, inhaling back to the center. Slowly putting the left foot down on the floor and breathing. Great, bringing that right foot nice and close to you. And actually, everybody, excuse me, if we can grab our weights, that would be great. Cool, from here we're going into more bridging. So feet stay on the floor, you're lifting up your hips, your lower back, your middle back, and lengthening those arms all the way up, palms forward facing for me. So from here, we're bringing our elbows in, palms facing each other, and then rotating at the top. So it's almost like you're hugging yourself down and then pushing away. Great, we have 4, 3, and again, it's slow enough, but you feel like you can reach a little bit longer for 2. Last time here for 1. Slowly bringing that left knee in and then tapping it down. So your arms are staying in that same position. Nothing else is happening yet. We have 5. And noticing how that right leg stays stable. And if you feel like the right leg is too far away from you, please walk it in. 4. Happy moments here, stretching and reaching for 3. Think about that internal warmth that's getting built up and how much support you're holding yourself here with in order to stabilize and keep yourself still for 2. Great, last time here for 1. Super, slowly coming down just about halfway for me. And we're opening the arms as you open the knees, staying halfway, exhale, squeeze. So halfway meaning you're not touching the floor with your bum. You're not fully lifted up either. But if this is, for some reason, going into your lower back, then I need you to come up a little bit higher. So it's about finding where your halfway point is. Your spine is still long, right? We're not curling the spine. We're just finding a nice lower position here. We have 5. Squeeze together. Open up, keeping the soles of your feet fully on the floor and just allowing the upper part of the thighs to open, right? It's like focusing on almost like your hip to your knee really squeezes open and then squeezes back. Super, 3. Inhale, opening, squeeze it back for 2. Last time here for 1. Great. Slowly coming back into your full bridge position. And here we go again. So opening up, squeezing closed for 8. And just noticing the difference. Do you have to hold yourself differently? Did it feel easier or harder in one direction or one position? Now the arms are still really quite active. So if you feel like, hey, I don't want to hold the weights anymore, then just put them down. But I want you to notice how active you can make your arm, right? Even if it's just a light weight, that there's still so much potential there. Super. 3. Open wide, squeeze it together, keeping the hips still stable for 2. Last time here for 1. Great. Heels stay on the floor, toes come off the floor, and you're lowering your lower bum and lifting it up. So at the moment, we're not doing anything with the arms. Just grounding through the heels as you lower down, squeeze and lift. Super. 6 more. And just continually finding a little bit more length and reach for 4. Heels still stay down for 3, 2, and 1. Great. Heels come back down to the center. Take a deep breath. Bringing your arms in towards you, this time reaching up with that right. So tapping on down, lifting up. And again, noticing how you're still keeping the hips lifted. You're just shifting your weight over to that left side. And if at any point you need to take a break, always just melt yourself down and come right back into it. Super. 4. Smiling, reaching up for 3, 2, and 1. Super. Feet come down on the floor. This time again, bringing both heels in towards the ground. We're coming down halfway here, opening up and then floating the left knee up. So we're going to be alternating here. So your heels come down, you come down almost to the floor, and on the way up, you lift up your right. Now, if you feel like this heel grounding is not working for you, just put your full foot on the floor. Just want to have a little bit of lowering, lifting, reaching, engaging, and holding, you know, all of those good things. Tapping down in your inhale, exhale, push up and reach. Now for here, we're keeping the foot nice and flexed. Right, I often do have us work with a point, but we do change it up. So just grounding and feeling how that stretch feels. Super. 1 more time on each side. And your last full one here. Super. Slowly lowering down for me. 1 vertebrae at a time on 3, 2, and 1. Great. Hug your knees into your chest. Bringing your hips just a little bit off the floor. Excellent. Both feet coming right back down. Arms come all the way up, keeping your feet a little bit further away. Take another inhale here. Exhale, head, neck, and shoulders come up. And let's find our reach. Great. The left hand behind your head. The right arm is going to come all the way up, floating the left knee into a tabletop. So let's work with a little bit of stretching now. So the right arm comes out to a nice goalpost position. Left leg goes long, and we come back to the center. So just again, isolating this one leg for the moment, noticing how much space you can still create with this straight-legged control. Great. 5 more here. And the left elbow still stays long as you open up through the right, resisting it down and pushing it up. Super. 3. Noticing here how your arm on the right still wants to open up a little bit more each time for 2. Great. Last time for 1. Super. Hands come behind your head. Let's float this right leg up as well. And start to bicycle here for me, nice and slow. Nice and big. So it's slow but long. Great. Elbows stay open on the right. We keep breathing for 5, 4, 3, 2. Last breath. 1. Super. Ending again all the way here. This time your arms are coming down to the floor and your right knee comes in towards the center. So you lower the left leg down, arms come behind you. And on the way up, you push out the right leg, left leg goes long. So your right knee is coming in, your left leg is lowering, and your exhale pushing down. Now, if you feel like you don't want to add this extra leg, you don't have to. You can just keep it in a tabletop position. You can also put your hands behind your head the whole time if you'd like. Super, 5 more. And noticing that difference when you're fully reached and how you have to push all the way down, head, neck, and shoulders still stay lifted for 3. Finding that amazing L shape if you can for 2. Last time here for 1. Great, from here, let's switch the legs for 5. 4, keep breathing long for 3. Keeping it straight for 2. Hips still stay where they are, nice and long for 1. Super, coming into your center, lowering down for 3, 2, and 1. Great, soles of your feet go right back down to the floor, bringing your arms all the way up, taking 1 step to the right and 1 step to the left. Let's drop the hips, start again. Let's drop the knees slowly to the right, allowing the hips to come off the mat just for a moment. Opening the arms to a nice V position, just giving yourself a nice little stretch. Allowing the arms to float to a nice T position without touching the floor. Take a deep inhale. And then exhale, squeeze, bring everything back to the center. Great, straight away with the other side. So you're slowly dropping the knees to the left, allowing the right hip to come off the floor, shoulders still stay down, open to a V, kind of just allowing a little bit of a side stretch. Great, dropping the knees a tiny bit more, opening your arms to a T without touching. Good, take another inhale, reaching the arms a tiny bit longer, and then exhale. Come all the way back. Great. Feet come a little bit closer, palms forward facing, take an inhale. And then exhale, head, neck, and shoulders come off. Great, from here, your right hand comes behind your head. Your left knee comes in towards you. And here we go with your elbow. So you're opening to the side, moving the pillow out of the way as you stretch out your right leg, and then all the way back. So again, noticing that reach just happening on the right side. Your hips still stay grounded. You can squeeze all of that air out of your ribs. Your right elbow is open and you're pushing on up. Great, 5 more. Noticing again, is there a difference between this side and the other? Can you support your head so that your core can stay active and your head, neck, and shoulders still stay lifted? Super, 3 more. And not underestimating this concept of the light weight, right? Sometimes weights are heavier, but even these light weights, use them to their maximum efficiency for you at this moment. Great, last time here. Excellent, hands come behind your head for a moment, floating this left knee in, and then slowly reaching the arms all the way up. So you're lowering the right leg down behind you, in front of you, arms come up, and then on the way back, you push and reach. So remember, the upper body stays lifted. If you want to support your head instead, do it. If you want to keep your hands down by your side, go for it. Just make it yours. So the idea here is to make this as big as you can at this moment, whatever that looks like. 5 more. Reaching all the way up, pushing down for 4. 3. Finding that extension all the way through the toes for 2. Last time here for 1. Great, hands behind your head. And let's bicycle backwards this time. Finding a nice stretchy feeling here. Great, we have 5. 4. Keeping the spine still long for 3. Slow it down even more if you want to for 2. Last time for 1. Super, soles of your feet come all the way down. Hands down by your side, and then slowly lower for me for 3, 2, and 1. Great, from here, bringing both knees into your tabletop position. And let's bring our palms again facing each other. Great. From here, we're opening up kind of to a soft bend T, almost like you're holding something or hugging something. And on the way back, you're slowly tapping the right foot down. Great. When you open, though, I want you to stretch up the right leg. So you're bending and tapping on the way down. And as you open, you stretch up the right. Super. So at this moment, we're focusing a little bit more on grounding through the lower back or middle lower back and really seeing how far away can you reach. Now, I still want this right leg to be bent. So you're not reaching too far where you're straightening the leg at the bottom, but I still want you to notice where your reach point is going. Do you notice that you can almost reach to the end of your mat, even if you're not going there? Great, 2 more. And then your last time here. Super slowly going back to the middle to start. And you're opening up the arms in that soft bend, and then tapping down with the left as your arms come up, and again, stretching up this left leg as you come out. Now, the right leg here is just holding. So why do I want you to hold? Because I think it's important to be able to hold ourselves while dynamically moving on the other side. I think it's important to understand what is involved when we hold ourselves properly. And that you're really noticing, hey, I'm holding my right leg even if my left leg is kind of doing the work. So if you can, at this point is when we start to reach a little bit further away. You inhale, open and stretch, and then exhale, reach and tap. And noticing how even in this comfortably supported floor position, how much your body needs to engage to really squeeze and reach. Good, 2 more. And then your last one here. Super, finding your way back to the center, take a deep breath and all the way down. Great, reaching this left leg, the right leg and then the left, bringing your arms up towards the ceiling. Let's take an inhale. And then exhale, slowly come on up for me on 3, 2, and 1. Great, let's come over onto our side body, please. So this time on the, left shoulder is above the left elbow, and the rest of the left arm just comes all the way out. Your hands are all the way behind your head for a moment. And you're stretching out this right leg. I lied. Right leg goes a slight bit behind the left. There we go. Take another inhale here and then pick your hips up just a bit. Great. From here, we're twisting down a tiny bit, just like we did before. And then on the way back, you inhale up and reach up the leg. So it's almost something similar to what we did before, just in a slightly different position. Opening up and then reaching. Now at the moment, I don't actually want your hand to go anywhere else unless you need more support. What you can also do though is you can keep the right leg a little bit hovered off the floor. Like if you feel like you don't actually need to put it down, just play around with what feels good at the moment. Great. 3 more here. Reaching on up, engaging the core, slowly reaching down, untwisting for 2. And then your last time here. Super, slowly putting that foot down, reaching your hips down a little bit. And now stretching out this left leg in front. So you'll notice that your right leg is behind, your right hip is coming slightly behind. You're lifting up this left leg. Great, you're reaching the right arm here and then pointing those toes for me. We're crossing, we're bringing the right elbow towards the left knee, and then you're unfolding. So it is like a slower, more controlled side crunch. So you'll notice that there's a twist happening, but we're not still trying to make ourselves small. So I still want you to keep as much length through this left side body as you can. There's a slight little shift back to the right if necessary, but almost think about meeting yourself more in the middle than worrying about shifting back. Great, 4 more. And 3. Great, 2 more. And then your last time here. Super, slowly bringing both knees back to the center, take a deep breath. Fantastic, swinging your arm to the front. And let's swing our legs over to the middle and then straight away to the other side so that I don't forget. And then we're balanced. Good, so again, aligning here, right shoulder, right elbow in a line. The rest of your right arm comes out. The weight is in your left hand behind your head. You're bringing this left leg out and then bringing it a slight bit behind so that you have a little bit more space. Great, and then lifting all the way up. So for the first 2 or 3, just kind of sensing again, what does your body need on this side? Right, do you want to just put your toes down? Do you want to have a flat foot? Do you want to just hover a little bit above the floor? Almost allow yourself the chance to just be like, actually I can make this a little bit bigger, and then just kind of keep the leg parallel to the floor if that works. And then you still bring it all the way up and find your way down. Or just allow for each move to be its own individual movement. Super, 4 more. Great, and still noticing that full twist happening from the belly button up. Right, so we're not twisting the hips, We're just twisting that upper body. Last two. Last one here. Excellent. Slowly coming on down. Great. So we're reaching this right leg in front, keeping the left leg where it is, shifting your weight back just a tiny bit, and then reaching this left arm up. Great. So we're bringing the elbow towards, it's almost like the left elbow goes to the outside of the right knee, and then reach. But we still want to keep the amount of space on the right side body as long as we can. And that side twist is just minimal, but so intense. Like a happy intense. Like a, I could do this all day intense, right? Great, 5 more. If you feel like you need to change your position on the left foot, like flex it or adjust accordingly, please do so, right? I want you to be comfortably uncomfortable in respects of supporting yourself through the challenging parts and making it meet your needs right now. 2 more. Great, and then your last time. Great, finding your way all the way back to the center. Take a deep breath. Cool, everybody. Let's sit up for a moment. Bringing your left foot in front of your right. Great. Your weights are still in your hand if you can. You're bringing your arms all the way up to a nice tall seated position, and then bringing the elbows behind you. So working on opening up the chest. So you're reaching the arms up, and then you're bringing your elbows behind, almost like you want to hug yourself behind. Great. Inhaling up, and exhale, hug behind for 3. Using this almost like as a stretch and activation through the shoulders, all the way back. Good, for 2. Last time here for 1. Great, switching your legs just so that you have a balanced feeling. And let's try that again. So you're sitting up super tall against your imaginary wall and your elbows come behind you. And noticing again, where are you holding yourself from? Can you really use your belly to bring the elbows back? Noticing that your arms get work, your shoulders get work, your chest gets a stretch. Great, 4 more. And up for 3. Kind of still allowing your hips to stay grounded and your knees just to open as much as they can. Not too much focus on that, but we're not trying to keep them tight. We're trying to release. Last time 1. Great, hands come down. Okay, we're coming over, onto all 4s. So the weights are coming down, you're opening up your chest, you're tucking your toes for a minute, elbows come all the way back. Stretching out the left leg, taking a deep inhale, and then bringing the right leg on top for a nice little hold. Super, so you're bringing your heels back, lifting up your bum just a tiny bit for a stretch, and then on the way down, you find your length and reach up that right leg. Reconnect. Inhale, shift back just a bit. Doesn't even have to be a huge shift back. Great. 3 more. Again, trying to find these moments of like, actually I can strengthen and stretch simultaneously. For 3. Super. Lifting on up, coming on down for 2. And then your last time here for 1. Great, bringing both feet down to your plank position, opening up on 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Super, slowly shifting all of your weight back, knees are bent. And now finding your way all the way through the center, lifting up the left leg. So now we're working with the opposite leg. You're shifting back, knees come down, don't touch. Exhale, open up the chest, stretch and reach. Great. 3 more only. And that left leg extension just gets lifted enough where you feel like, again, you're coming away from your center point, but you're still holding it. For 2, you might even have to come down a tiny bit more before you lift. Great, last time here. Great, coming down to the middle, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Put your knees down for a second and shift your weight back. Great, finding yourself back into your starting position, taking an inhale. Stretching out the right leg and now bringing your left on top and holding. So you're starting with like a small shift back. It's almost like you're lifting your hips just a bit, and on the way back we lengthen up. Reconnecting and saying, do you want to shift back this way? If you feel like you also don't want to lift your hips, you can also shift back like in a different way, like just shift back that way. I don't know, I kind of like this hip feeling of lifting up, but see what you need at this moment. And remember, you make it as big or as small as you need to. 2 more. All right, and your last time here. Good, putting both feet down, taking a nice open inhale, holding, and we start to shift back. Shift back, knees stay off the floor, coming back up, long plank before the right leg comes up. Inhale, shifting back, knees don't touch, extending all the way through the center, spine long and lift. Great, 3 more. Great, and just noting the feeling of how the weight gets shifted front and back. How you still lift from the belly to hold and alleviate any extra stress on the shoulders. Great, everyone holding here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Knees come back and shift. Okie dokie, let's come over onto our forearms. So remember here we can have the arms straight away out. You can have like a fist position and hug yourself. You can interlace your fingers that way. Whatever feels good. Please just make sure we're not sinking. We have that nice lifted feeling here. Great. We're tucking the toes for a moment, taking a deep breath. And then exhaling, hovering the knees and holding. Good. From here, you're going to walk out with the right, walk out with the left, and come back into a plank, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There's lots of hip lifting here. Walking in, hovering, and then slowly coming on down. Good. 2 more. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, hover and hold. Still walking out with the right leg, and then the left, and then lengthening yourself down into your holding plank for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Engage the core, lift on up. Bring your right knee in and then your left. Holding here, and then slowly dropping down. Great. Last time. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, hover and hold. Great. Stretching out with the right and the left and lowering yourself down. Lengthening out through that upper chest for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly bringing the hips up and finding your way back to your center, right and then left. And then slowly tapping on down. Excellent. From here, you keep your left knee where it is. You bend the right leg for me here. And then open up again that right knee. So you're tapping on down and lifting on up. So noticing again, you're not trying to shift the weight too much into that left. And of course your left is there, but we're still trying to keep our weight somewhat stabilized in the middle. Great. 4 more. Lengthening all the way out as high as we can without jeopardizing the form for 3. Belly gets lifted for 2. Last time for 1. Great, finding your way all the way out here, and then we stretch and bend and push away and bend. So don't just think of this as like, oh, I'm just stretching and bending my leg. Thinking about how can you lengthen a bit more and then find your way back to yourself, right? It's like each movement is still a movement away from ourselves, and that's like, ah, that's cool, but it's still nice to come back to myself. Great. 4, 3, stretching on out for 2. Last time here for 1. Super. Rebend, close, back to the center, and then find your way back into a nice little child's pose position for a moment. Cool. And then straight away back into the other side. Good. Finding your nice comfortable position, whatever is supportive. Right toes are tucked if you can, stretching out that left leg, and then bending it and opening. Okay, so remember, if you're sitting too much in the right hip, lift it a little bit more so that your right hip and your right knee, are pretty much aligned. So you're slowly bending and opening up. Now, even within this position, noticing what body parts are moving. Notice what body parts are active. Can you find a little bit more space through your chest? Can you imagine melting the shoulders a tiny bit down your back? It's almost like you're trying to open up your wingspan. Great, we lift still from the belly, right? We notice how the breath opens up and lifts, and then exhales, it brings it all back to ourselves, right? If you think about every time you take a nice fresh breath of air, you're taking air from the outside in, right? And then when you let it go, you're letting everything go that doesn't belong to you, and then you're just left with the beauty of you. Great, 4 more. Spine still stays long. Remember, we gaze down or slightly out of the mat in front, but not looking up for 2. Last time here. Great, lengthening out through that left leg and bending and stretching it for 8. Keeping it as high as we can at this given moment, stretching it and reaching it back. Super, I do love this move. Among all of the other thousands of moves that I love, but this one is still one of my favorite. 100. Great, 4. Finding that full space all the way through your shoulder blades. 2. Lengthening the spine even more for 1. Good, slowly bending, bringing it back to the center. Knees come back to each other. And then shift your weight back, everyone. Awesome. And then just walk yourself 1 vertebrae at a time, somewhat slowly, all the way back to your starting position. Great, let's just stretch out the back and then we're good to go. So fingertips are coming behind you, reaching all the way. Great, and I actually want you to kind of curl forward and just allow your arms to come up and bringing your neck and your head as close to the floor as you can. Great, holding here for a moment, inhale. Exhale, engage the core, curl yourself up. On 3, 2, and 1. Good, interlacing your fingers, pushing all the way forward. Bringing your arms up and allowing your spine to arch as you reach back as comfortably or as far as you want. And then exhale, engage the core, come back to the center. Super, everyone. Slowly coming onto your bum for a moment. Bringing your hands underneath your knees, sitting up super tall. Hinging back for me, knees come in towards the center and stretch up your legs. Just giving yourself a support hug for the moment. Great, and if you're comfortable doing so, release your hands, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Great, feet on the floor, hands next to you, shift your weight forward, hang nice and long. Bending the right and then the left. And then here's where we say yes to everything that fits our vision of what we'd like our life to be. And we actively say no to everything else. And take another inhale. Exhale, slowly peeling on up on 5, 4. Adjusting where necessary. 3,